Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to continue our look at the candidates for the starting right guard spot for the Dolphins. In previous videos, we've looked at Jack Driscoll, who's a very athletic lineman but lacks power at the point of attack. We've also looked at my personal pick, Rob Jones, who's very strong at the point of attack but lacks athleticism. Next, we're going to look at Liam Eichenberg, who's a nice blend of the two. He's stronger than Jack Driscoll at the point of attack, and he's more athletic than Rob Jones. In today's video review, we're going to look at some of the things that he does really well, and we're also going to look at some of the snaps where he hasn't done so well. Before we get into the video review of Liam Eichenberg, one of the narratives that I've seen out there on Eichenberg is that he's not athletic enough for this offense. RAS, or relative athletic score, is a metric that's used to take the different individual testing results for a player and to generate one number. In Liam's case, as an offensive tackle coming out of Notre Dame in 2021, his relative athletic score was 8.54. And you can see on the screen here that his explosion and his size were just okay, but his agility grade was great. And the overall RAS being in green, meaning that's also a very good score. But if we take it a step further and we switch his position to offensive guard, you can see that his relative athletic score jumps up to a 9.41. His size fits a little better. His explosion still is just in the good range. And his agility grade is still in the great range. So I don't understand where that narrative's coming from, that he's not athletic enough to play in this offense. But I think that this kind of helps to debunk that theory. All right, these first few snaps are going to be pass block snaps. On this one, you can see Eichenberg losing some ground initially, but he does a good job of resetting that anchor, and had Tua not gotten pressure from the other side, this would have still been a very good rep by Eichenberg. On the next one here, going to get another pass block rep. And again, solid job of resetting that anchor and slowing down that pass rush. And then the third rep we're going to get here clearly is not a good rep. Eichenberg oversets to his right side and almost completely whiffs on this block. And as you can see, that when Eichenberg does lose a rep, unfortunately, it's at times really bad. Our next set of plays here are going to be a few crack toss plays. And you can see on this one that Eichenberg does a really good job of cutting off that one technique and just stopping any kind of pursuit. Here we're going to get a crack toss to the right. And again, you can see that he does a good job of getting out to that three technique, initiating contact, and working around to seal him to the inside. And then one more crack toss here, going to be to the right. And here you can see that he doesn't do as good of a job. Doesn't do a very good job at all, to be honest. His initial leverage is good, but he does not do a good job of either sealing that defender to the inside or creating vertical push there. And you can see that that aids, along with Austin Jackson's missed block, of preventing the running back from being able to find a lane to turn that upfield. Next set of plays we're going to look at here are some inside zone plays to the left. So Eichenberg is going to be on the back side of those. And you can see on this play that Eichenberg and Jackson are working to combo to number 5 here. And they do a good job of creating movement at the point of attack. Jackson slides off, and Liam stays on that block to get a decent gain. Another inside zone to the left. A little bit of a different look here. But you can see on this one that we are going to get Connor Williams and Liam Eichenberg working together to get to this linebacker. And it's going to be Alec Ingold coming through for the front side. So they do a good job. That nose tackle is slanting away already. Good position here, staying on the double. And then you can see Eichenberg sliding off on a number 41. So another good rep. Here we're going to get one that's not quite as good. So inside zone to the left, getting a little bit of a cut back there. And you can see that Eichenberg is trying to solo block number 90. He's got to be stronger with that left hand, that catch hand, getting it lower underneath the elbow of that defender, which will prevent him from being able to shed that block to the inside. All right, next set of plays here are going to be inside zone to the right. So this is right at Liam Eichenberg. And the idea here is they want to create vertical push. And this is a type of play that in general, Liam struggled with. This particular rep is a good one. You can see that Liam Eichenberg and Connor Williams are working to combo through number 70 and up to that linebacker. And then one of the bad reps for inside zone to the right. And on this rep, you can see that Austin Jackson and Liam Eichenberg are working to combo through that 3 technique tackle to this linebacker here. Now, what you'd like to see is the two of them staying on that combination block and waiting to see which way this linebacker commits. Instead, what we end up getting is that Liam Eichenberg comes off of this block too early. Right? There's still a lot of space between the defensive tackle and that linebacker. So what you'll see is that it creates an opportunity for this linebacker to now shoot the gap because Eichenberg does not have that angle. If Eichenberg and Jackson had gotten the vertical push like Williams and Eichenberg did on the previous play, then you would see Eichenberg taking over this block and letting that 3 technique continue to the inside, and Austin Jackson would slide off onto this linebacker. Instead, the linebacker is allowed to scrape into the hole and make the play. All right, let's look at some outside zone to the left. So away from Eichenberg, again, we can see that he does a good job of cutting off that one technique, and with the assistance of Austin Jackson, creating some vertical movement there. Again, going to get an outside zone to the left. And this time a little different look there. Rather than working play side with Austin Jackson, they were probably concerned about Max Crosby flying down the line and making the play. So it ended up being just a solo block with Liam Eichenberg on the 3 technique. And all that he has to do here is to prevent him from chasing horizontally along the line of scrimmage. And that's exactly what he does. And then one more outside zone to the left. And another good job here. So in outside zone, you want to create displacement on the play side of the play, and you want to cut off on the backside. And that's exactly what we're getting here. The combination block here is going to be Eichenberg and Austin Jackson climbing up to number 41 here. And what you'll see here is that Eichenberg is just going to give a little bit of help to try to allow Austin Jackson to get around. And then he's going to take a good angle to get to number 41 at the next level. Right? There's that backhand, just giving a little bit of help to Austin Jackson getting around there. We're creating vertical movement here to aid in that cutoff block. And because of that vertical movement, this linebacker can't run downhill. He's got to run more horizontal. So he's chasing this play at 5 yards downfield already. All right, let's finish up our film review with some outside zone plays here to the right. So plays where Eichenberg is on the play side of the outside zone. And you can see on this one that we're getting a combo block between Connor Williams, Liam Eichenberg, and they're working up to this linebacker. So Eichenberg's using a gallop technique and then a ricochet off of that tackle, getting into good position to seal off that linebacker. The only thing he's trying to do is make sure this linebacker does not have a free run at the lane here to get to the running back in the backfield. Instead, Eichenberg's in good position and is making sure that that linebacker has to scrape over top, and that linebacker is not even going to be a factor in that play until they're 5 yards downfield. Another outside zone to the right here, and we can see a little bit of a different blocking scheme with it. So on this one, we're going to get Eichenberg just solo blocking that one technique. These linebackers are going to shift over with the motion, creating a good angle for Connor Williams to cut off that backside linebacker. So on this play, Eichenberg does a good job of being aggressive, setting to this B gap to make sure that this defensive tackle does not try to scrape over his face. And he can be aggressive with that because he knows that as long as he seals him inside initially, even if that defensive tackle starts to get penetration upfield, this running back is already going to be gone. So again, this is a good job by Eichenberg of understanding the scheme. And then one more outside zone to the right. This one is going to be a not so good rep. You can see the penetration given up in the backfield. So when running this outside zone, and Liam has a solo block here, you want one of two things to happen. You either want movement this way along the line of scrimmage, which would create a cutback lane for that running back, or you want to create vertical displacement, which is going to allow that running back to continue downhill and keep going. Instead, what we get is that Liam gets pushed back into this area, which, as you can see, is right in the path of where the running back is going to be going. And you can see that slows down Mostert. Jump cut is not ideal there. Mostert does a good job of reading that block and getting through the traffic, but that's not an ideal situation. It is, however, a good example of how even if you have one block that's not that great in this zone blocking scheme, because of the vertical push that gets created here, this is still able to turn a play that could have been a negative into a positive gain. All right, so as we're wrapping this up, like I said earlier in the video, Eichenberg is a pretty good blend of the athleticism that Driscoll shows and the power that Rob Jones shows. But as you can see from these videos, he still has some really bad reps that he needs to continue to clean up. I think that from an ideal scheme fit, Eichenberg is the best choice on the roster. And I think he's probably going to be given a pretty good chance to earn that right guard spot, even though my pick, based on consistency, would be Rob Jones. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. We should start to get a little bit of a clearer picture on the starting right guard spot this week as we start to get into padded practices for training camp. We'll talk again next week.